Hey Tauruses, welcome on back into the channel. I guess one of you may have been, I don't know, telekinetically calling out to me to do this reading, but here we are. So yeah, this is going to be your reading for the month of January 2024. So this can be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I am using a different set of cards. I haven't used these cards maybe in like 3 or 4 years, but for some reason I was just staring at them. So I was like, okay, maybe we're going to use these cards today. There aren't any major arcanas in this particular set because this set of cards is similar to a set of playing cards. Okay, so it's not going to have any major arcanas, but I will pull a few of my other cards to see if any major arcanas pop out in that. But otherwise, I guess this one's probably just going to be pretty straight and to the point, which is the way I like it. So let's take a, oh, of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, if you guys have any questions or anything like that that I can answer that you don't want to put on YouTube, you can always email me, you can text me. All the information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's take a stab at this. Oh. Oh, first card. Oh, we have the Three of Swords. Even though we know the generic meaning of the Three of Swords is separation, heartbreak, loss, but I feel I'm going to go in a different direction when it comes to this Three of Swords. There's this very flamboyant, very bright type of energy that I'm getting from this Three of Swords. I'm also getting something tied to a vial, but it makes me think of like a medicine vial. So this could be, it almost makes me think of insulin. So I'm not sure if some of you Tauruses, maybe you're on insulin or there is possibly some sort of a medical condition that may require you to be on insulin or some sort of medication where you have to use a syringe or a needle to take this, but that is coming through. But there also is that energy revolving around maybe even steroids, and I would say the negative side effect of steroids. So I don't know if you are close to someone who is dealing with this or this. I do believe they use steroids for certain medical situations. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know all of them, but I feel that they do. So if you're familiar, let me know, educate me because I don't know. But I have heard this before. I think they may do this when it comes to like knees, maybe like knee injuries, or I don't know if they use it to get like fluid or like scar tissue or anything like that off of the knee. But again, if you know more than I do, I'm always welcome to learn. But that is the energy that I do get around the Three of Swords for you during this particular month. There is something that you are needing to take, or it could be something that you are ingesting that actually may end up having some sort of a negative effect on you if we're talking about medically speaking. So I would say be very mindful about this, especially if this is possibly a medicine that you may have gotten in November. This may be something that you've already had some sort of reaction to, or you had that itching feeling like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be feeling like this when it pertains to this particular medicine, but I do get that. And oddly enough, I actually get something tied to addiction. So some of you may be dealing with a Libra, a Gemini is coming through, Sagittarius is coming through as well. For some reason I'm getting Virgo, and it could be you may be dealing with another Taurus. Okay. But yeah, I am getting like some sort of addictive personality, but I also am getting a little bit of maybe even BPD. So bipolar, was it bipolar depression? I may have the acronym wrong, but I am picking up that. So it seems that Taurus is a lot of, not a lot, but a big bulk of your energy right now coming through for the month of January seems to be dealing with some sort of medical situation that you really need to stop ignoring, and you really need to pay attention to this, whatever it could be. And for some of you, an aunt, possibly on your mom's side, or some sort of woman that you may have been close to on your mom's side. Doesn't have to be on, who knows, it could be a cousin or something like that. But it seems like this particular medical condition they had, and maybe they unfortunately passed away from it, or they're still dealing with this right now. So you really need to get your health under control with this Three of Swords coming through. Oddly enough, though, at the top of this card, there is, we could take this one or two ways. Okay, I know the light may not be that great, but you see those rays, it kind of reminds me of the sun, but it can go up, it could go two ways. Like I said, the sun could be setting or the sun could be rising. So this is a toss up, and you may feel that way about a particular situation. Of course, we know the sun is tied to our ego and it's tied to our children. It's tied to things of gold and all that Leonian things. Okay, so you may be on the fence about Leo things over this next month. And actually, I feel like this could possibly go as far as March or June. So you may have to circle back on this January reading and listen to it later in the year, because I would say that this is not going to be just specifically for January. I feel that it is going to come up at a different time during the year. But I spent so much time on that card because this is something that, and I know the gist when we do tarot is to talk about, we know, all the fluffy stuff. But you guys, if you've been here since the beginning, you know that I talk about it all, okay? Because it just can't be all about love, because life isn't all about love. So, I spent a lot of time on that because I feel this Three of Swords is your dark horse, and it may be your dark horse this year. So it's not something to play with. So I feel like that's why I took so much time on that particular card, because a lot of you are ignoring maybe things that people have said, or you're just going to ignore what I'm saying. That's fine. But let's get some more cards for you. Okay, well, I'm not going to take those. It's like 17 cards right there. Okay, I'll take these two. Okay, we have the Eight of... That makes sense why I said you're ignoring. The Eight of Pentacles can get very wrapped up in the details, but outside of that, the Eight of Pentacles can definitely overwork himself, because that's what it becomes all about. And this may be what you're doing in the month of January. You're overworking yourself. Some of you Tauruses, you are overcompensating for something. There is something in your life that is not up to par. You're not at your best in this particular field in your life. So you're trying to overcompensate in a different direction. And again, you have to be careful, because this is where you're headed. Overcompensation leads to health issues or some sort of hazard. I would also say have to be careful about not getting enough sleep. Hopefully not, because it is giving energy of falling asleep at the wheel. Hopefully not. So take a buddy with you if you are going somewhere in terms of traveling, or anything like that. It's weird that I talked about Virgos, and the Eight of Pentacles is Virgo. But also, if we take this in another direction, this gives me you still have work to do, maybe in areas that you feel you have mastered. The thing is, with this particular energy, you can, and some of you, this may be happening right now, you are getting very confused when it pertains to some sort of story that somebody is telling you. The story keeps changing, but you know how it goes. Unless you hear from the source, by the time the story gets to you, it's not even what the story is. By the time the story gets to you, somehow we're talking about something that happened 5 years ago, whenever the original story was just something so simple that may have happened last week and it was miscommunication. So then we have this stir of unnecessary drama that could be coming in. Okay, again, it could be at the hands of a Virgo, but that's not always the case. Okay, you see how this woman, man, doesn't matter. They're sewing something, putting something back together, focusing on the details. So even though you may not really, I don't know if you are a perfectionist, maybe you are, but if you're not much of a perfectionist, I feel that you're going to be a little bit of a perfectionist during this month of January, and it's going to be quite irritating. Some of you are doing this when it comes to your relationships. remember I said you're trying to put the story together because something doesn't make sense. So you are, and I feel some of you Tauruses, you actually may be being somewhat of like a Sherlock Holmes or a private investigator during this month of January. Some of you, you're going to private investigate to get the dirt on somebody because they have Three of Swords you. Now, this may be tied to a contract. Some of you feel screwed over when it pertains to some sort of contract. It doesn't have to be work. It could be any sort of contract. Maybe you were trying to, get somebody to do some sort of service that they are specialists in, because Virgo's all about that business. So you may have had a contract with this person and now it's starting to seem a little bit sketchy because they are not responding. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. But I would say watch out for this in the month of January. Watch out for this non-responsive energy when it pertains to handling business, doing business. I'm also getting something tied to driver's license. I'm also getting something tied to registration. So this may be things that you may have to deal with during this month. And we know those are minute things, and it's just very like, oh my God, it's so irritating, even though it's like a two-step process to get the situation resolved. Yeah. And we have the King of Cups, so big Scorpio energy, but we have this energy of you. I think this can be a double-edged sword because I see you being more open during this month of January, but we know sometimes this can be a bad thing because then you start being too accommodating. You start allowing things through that you should be blocking out, especially when it pertains to this relationship or whatever this connection is that you're trying to get these details about because their story is not adding up. And even though their story is not adding up, you're still moving forward with it. But again, you're knitting your sweater, you're knitting your blanket with every single detail that you're going to gather. But for you, it is, let's say you are knitting a giant red flag so big that literally it could be a replica of your country or your nation's flag. That's how big it can be. And we know flags are hard to miss. So you are knitting this flag. The signs are there. The red flags are there. And even though it's waving in your face, it's still not enough for you to look the other way. So this is screaming very, you feel that you have to accept this person's crap because some of you may be fearful that this may be one of the last relationships you have, maybe forever. So you are maybe settling, or it does feel you're allowing some things that you should not allow, especially if you broke up with somebody and you moved on to someone else. But we have the Six of Cups coming through. So this person that you may have broke up with in the past for whatever reason, there could be a time period during this month where you guys may run into one another. And once you run into one another, there's that energy of you're feeling at home again. Now, what do I do with this person or situation over here? Yeah, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So it seems that your soulmate is a water sign. Um, I was, well, uh, that's too broad because that could be anybody. Because I was about to say this person may have water in their big three and you have earth in your big three, but that's just way too broad because you're going to come across 1,000 million people like that. So let's see if they give me more specifics than that. Okay. All right. I'm getting the word Jane Doe. So that makes me think of a possibly lawsuit, or there may be a Jane Doe situation that is just not coming through right now. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what that is about. Jane Doe situation specifically tied to a Taurus. So I don't know if maybe some sort of Taurus out there could possibly be facing some sort of legal situation when it comes to a Jane Doe whole thing. We don't know. Again, we'll have to wait. But this actually may not happen until February, like maybe a little bit before Valentine's Day. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, 10 of Wands, I've never seen that series Breaking Bad, so I don't even know what it is about. And we have the Three of Pentacles, but now it makes me think of Breaking Bread. Be careful of sketchy business partners, business opportunities, but also this feels like some sort of toxic waste or some type of chemical being wasted or some sort of chemical that they may be coming out talking about if we're talking about just news. So again, another thing that we're just going to have to see what that is about. We have this Three of Cups. Yeah, you know what? For some reason, I'm seeing somebody kiss two people at not at the same time, but one is right here, one is right there, and they're just like kiss here, kiss there. So I think somebody or you're in love with two people. That's what I feel. But I kind of was saying that anyway because it's person from the past. Now I don't know the exact story with the person from the past, but it seems that the current person you're with, there may be some addictive tendencies there coming from your side, coming from their side. We also do have a struggle to get married or a struggle to get engaged. Some of you may be waiting for that to happen when it pertains to someone that you're dealing with, or if you're a guy, you want to pop the question, but something is off about this. Yeah, something is off about this particular individual. And we have the Five of Swords. You see, this screams, I'm being dealt a bad hand. And that's what I'm saying. You have to be careful. You have to really take a step back and process during the month of January. But also, this hand has yet to be revealed. So overall, don't make any, I guess, keep knitting your sweater and keep knitting your red flag, even though I feel you don't really need to see any more pieces on the red flag because it's pretty much done and you know what the finished product is going to look like. But you still are going to keep uncovering, but there is more that you don't know about this person. And yeah, this person seems very detached, and it seems to be somebody who really loves their freedom over anything else. So trying to get married or settle down with them, it may be kind of difficult. But I guess if you're okay with kind of going against what you want, then I guess it could work. But it really feels that the balance has been restored with this situation or person from the past. So you got some decisions to make, but don't make them in the month of January. Keep building your quilt, your sweater, whatever you want to call it, so that you can have all of the information that you need. So when you leave, you don't come back. So this is your month of building your case. You will build a case this month because you're in love with two people. But we'll see how it goes. But Tauruses, thank you for sticking around for your video for the month of January. I do hope it helped you in any type of way, and I will see you later.